tell us Otumfuo ye MPP and no ye NDC. That's the only thing is Ubeka Asante for ye MPP for. Politicians have to send some people to go and insult Otumfuo. So that one I live. You see, we talk too much. We don't talk too much. You don't know. So let's talk about Otumfuo. Let me tell you. The oya or the poor politicians ne senka yebenya no so mienu ahemfo mienu te se Otumfuo our Ghana hanoma nka Ghana yakoye nim de dada.
Discussed with Otumfuo. One of the times I went to Kumasi and I discussed with him and I said, look, we decided to go to the IMF, but the IMF are dragging their feet and it's taking too long for them to make a decision. But I know you have contacts, you know, with some of these leaders of international finance institutions. So I want you to, you know, get involved and see how you can.
You see the reason why Ashanti region is the next developed region. So even the next developed region, but remember I would say it's the first developed region because Greater Accra na Greater Accra no way abai na developing Greater Accra. Ndai bebrebe ya abai na developing Greater Accra. And I like ahoho ababetinam na ahoho so developing more. But Ashanti region is developed by their own. So mama enjoy. So you see let me tell you. Mama politicians may harm because they will bring trouble thing, and if you don't know, you will talk against Obia and Sessa Casantiano, and therefore Ubenya who punish their punishment because Obia and Niti Obian movies who can movie in them before you mama about them. So that one I leave that one to individuals. But let me tell you what Otumfuo is doing. He needs to be recognized and appreciated because he has done what people cannot do. No one can do that in Ghana here. In fact, he can develop different people, different places. President Mahama develop na two for Nankasa Nijina Mukoji Sikano Crampono. One so Nankasa can one and no and Otumfuo and Mahama basically or the go to Kobo Santi my you see, we talk too much. We don't talk too much. You don't know. So he need be better me away and conquer here. Me say connection conquer is not easy. I always tell people say it's not about just say Abia Ubeye president, but it's about the connection out there. Say president, me go move to me the message. Now one minimum approach. I am a minimum. It's connection. Get that in your text call. Too much dream. I'm if I wait here because we Ghanaians say we have refused to learn, to study, to even think. We have refused to do that. In fact, we have politicians have to send some people to go and insult Otumfuo. I would say politicians who are doing that. Most of them are politicians. Upon all what he's doing to help both NDC and MPP, they will still send their people to go and insult him. And you think you'll be free. Next time we hear Mbwambesako, some babaimu. Mubesako. I just think say Otumfuo is a very kind-hearted person that he will do things on his own and he doesn't even care. Say at least no, and fan of him. And in fact, you can't even tell us Otumfuo ye MPP and no ye NDC. That's the only thing is Ubeka Asante for ye MPP for. But Otumfuo is helping all. Mahama na ekana no nsem no. Or your NDC means is a person who find and target so to for your MPP near. Then you should know, say, even though you think so, ye Kotokonia, Kotokono, and Amika's MPP near Asante for your MPP phone. He still thinks of Ghana, not MPP and NDC. He thinks beyond that. Let's get this in our text corner and jai in some near ye nim. And I make a sadodo. Maybe I make a sadodo. But I think since we by dream banner bedroom, you should know say this man doesn't care whether you are NDC or you are MPP. He cares about the development of Ghana. That is what I want you to understand. You people should think very wisely. In fact, adia wukoye no ni me ho so aso krampo. Enda mba wo so wo ba bi wo ho nana bi wo ho. Wo nua bi wo ho. Yeah, a way to a wise. Me, I always say it's enough. Me to a me my baby to a before. Me compo me nim me left to right. Me whom my bra boano. My baby cast me to me obifo. But you should know, say, at least no, some people are untouchable. Don't touch them because you don't know the consequences of that.
We had to go to the IMF, but you don't just walk into the IMF like that. And we needed to do that fast. And so even though we had written to the IMF, they were taking their time to set up a mission and all that, and come and do a pre-assessment and all that. Meanwhile, we needed this to happen fast, so that the economy could start to come out of the hole in which it was. And so I discussed it with Otumfuo. One of the times I went to Kumasi and I discussed with him and I said, look, we've decided to go to the IMF, but the IMF are dragging their feet and it's taking too long for them to make a decision. But I know you have contacts, with some of these leaders of international finance institutions. So I want you to, get involved and see how you can get us into a program. So he quickly agreed. And I agreed with him. He said he would go and talk to Jim Wilson, who was his very good friend and former managing director of the World Bank. So he called Wolfenson, he got an appointment and everything. So we facilitated it. He came to Accra and he flew to Geneva or somewhere where Wolfenson was. Went and met him. And he went with Wolfenson to US and went to the IMF office and met Lagarde, who was the head of IMF at the time. And she went and talked to him and said, look, my country wants to get into a program. Your people are taking too long. These are the issues. Of course, we had briefed him what the issues were. And so Lagarde, said, oh, okay, we'll deal with it. And so she called the mission chief for Ghana and all that and gave them instructions. And then we noticed that things started moving quicker. And then eventually we signed off on the IMF program.
Since 1999, when Otumfuo Osei Tutu II was installed as the 16th occupant of the gold stool, he has worked with and supported the various central governments in the country to promote the various national development agenda, starting with the John Agyekum Kufuor administration to the current administration of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. These include the HIPIC initiative.
If Otumfuo had not been there in Washington at that time to influence his friends to work on IMF, I don't know what would have become of Ghana's budget. And people may not know. But for that HIPIC success, I tell you, perhaps the economy of Ghana today might not be the same. We wouldn't have made the headway. We moved from, if you would remember, the lows of something like 300, 400 US dollars per capita, 2001, 2002 and thereabouts. By 2006, Ghana hit per capita GDP of $1,300. That was what moved Ghana from the doldrums, perhaps, to middle income.